Happy Saturday, and welcome to the Ram Ashram Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you'll learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie, and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I'd like to give you a brief overview of the Satsang session. If you direct your attention towards the screen, you'll see the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin its practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior. But only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He is the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ram Ashram Satsang. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangees. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a father, a husband, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
Thank you, Eddie, and welcome everyone. Happy Saturday. Glad that we are here in Satsang. So today, I think I have been thinking about, getting these talks a little more structure. So last month we talked about inner peace. Today and this whole month, the focus is on the 5 steps to nirvana or inner peace or enlightenment. There is a model that was documented in Upanishads, which were, you know, probably written thousands of years ago. But today, you know, I also bring this together with um, a book that I read a few years ago called Power of Focus. And this is written by three authors that I think all three of them are involved in the Chicken Soup series. You know, it's uh, very, very focused on how, um, developing focus, concentration, and um, pulling together um, a step-by-step process through which you know you focus on bringing your life uh, on a track, essentially. And this book talks about uh, so at the end there is a chapter called level of being. So um, in a way it could be your state of mind, but then it's only focused on your mind. But it focuses on the level of your being. So where are you on the level? And they describe three levels, but essentially, if you break it down a little further, you come up with these five levels. And just understanding these five levels would make you understand why sometimes people don't have a purpose in life, because that comes when your realm of knowledge, or when your third eye opens, or when your ability to discern becomes so um, powerful. That's when your purpose of life really becomes so crystal clear. Before that, it's work in progress. So if we look at these five steps, um, for me, essentially, I really like this model because, one, it shows that there is vertical levels, that when you do vertical growth, you ascend to higher consciousness, higher awareness. What does that really mean? What that means is that how you react to the world changes. The world doesn't change, you change within. So I also call this a map of inner states. So world is full of outer events. How we react to them, how we feel when certain things happen in our lives, all that depends on where we are on the spectrum. But wherever we are on this spectrum, there is growth possibility. So, what is growth? Is that having more material possessions, having strong physical being, having um, a, having some mental powers? What is growth? In a materialistic world, it's like defined very, very differently. And this model changes that in terms of, as you grow, like on the other side, there is Maslow's hierarchy where, from psychological needs to self-actualization, even there is talk about self-actualization. And there are some psychological needs in the middle. So, uh, you know, body, mind, and then eventually your ego and identity needs to be tackled or toned to live a complete and wholesome life. Another thought process here is that we can continue to go on the horizontal scale from past to present to future, which is the horizontal scale. So that doesn't make you wiser. That's a misconception. It gives you more experience, maybe, gives you more, gray hair, etc. But becoming wiser, you need to make an effort. Um, and that effort of lifting yourself up or vertical ascent is what this describes. So, so today, I think, Yuan, if we go to the next one, I want to talk a little bit about some nuances here. So the first three phases are lunar phases. And at the top of the third realm, so first three realms are lunar realms, and the top two or parts of the top of the third realm starts your solar phases or solar realms. What's the difference? In the lunar realms, you're reflecting someone else's light. In the solar realms, you have the light of your own. And so basically, if we think about the lower realms, the self-centeredness, safety and survival focus, very me type of, situation. If you have power, if you have money, the vanity would show. When you grow towards the top of the pyramid, self-reliance, unconditional giving, unconditional love becomes part of you, almost second nature. Harmlessness to all. So you become so accessible to everyone. Follows inner voice, and that I really like. How many of us really have a strong sense of the ability to listen to our inner voice or inner conscience. If you do, then I think you are in a good place. But if you don't, then satsang can help you get there. And we really need to, develop that. And a lot of times, like meditation is the place where you listen to this inner voice. And again, I want to differentiate. Some of us have this inner voice which is negative. That's more in the realm of mind or in the lower realms. Here we're talking about the inner conscience. Experiences no resistance, and that I think something I still need to understand better. But the idea is that, I want to write a book. I have a writer's block, and I want to do certain things, but I don't think I am that capable. These kind of self-made resistances are part of the lower realms. So experiencing no resistance is like it's a free flow. Portrays invisible leadership skills. So, if we look at the corporate or otherwise, like stick and carrot are the ways in which leaders lead people. But, these leaders portray invisible leadership skills, which is, the influence is um, so, it's not imposition. It's more of, follow me style. Um, so that's at the top of the pyramid. Um, Now, what happens? Uh, on the right hand side, there are these things. So, what I was describing, this model was described in the Upanishads ages ago. But what you're seeing on the right side, a lot of these descriptions came from this book, Power of Focus, where, uh, you know, uh, they're talking about how intuitiveness um, grows from the bottom to the top. So it's just continues to grow. Um, Love, which is self centered at the bottom, becomes very unconditional at the top. Giving more than taking, that again, in the me situation at the bottom, you are more focused on yourself, but then, once you realize you're so integral to, uh, everybody else's well-being is so, integral to your own well-being. Once that wisdom dawns, then, giving becomes like, it's you're not doing a favor to others, but you're helping yourself by helping others. Personal power increases in the sense that you feel more complete, you feel more empowered, and you enable people to be more powerful. So high self-esteem comes along with that, and motivation from within. So all that, is how you grow as you vertically lift yourself up to the higher realms. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Next few weeks I'll be traveling, but this time I'm thinking at least on Saturdays, I'll try to join these sessions from wherever I am. But yeah, we'll talk or interact and take some questions after the meditation. And so let's now focus on one of the unique ways in which Guru Maharaj described how to get to the top of the pyramid. So basically, he took the 4 limbs out of the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga and said, like, you start here, or basically he said, start with inward orientation and concentration, which will lead to deeper silent meditation, and higher consciousness will result from there. And then once you have inner strength because of this, once you have inner light because of this, once you have inner peace, inner happiness because of this, then you will be able to take care of your well-being better. So, asanas and pranayams, which are the 2 limbs which focus on physical well-being, physical exercises, breath work. So, that will be taken care of, as well as yam and niyam, which are other 2 limbs where the behavioral aspects are focused on. So focus on these 4 limbs, the meditative aspects of Ashtanga Yoga would, which I refer to as inner yoga, would lead to addressing the other four as well. So for inward orientation, um, relaxed and still posture, eyes lightly closed, because both of those things help you focus inwards, and the sensory input into your eyes, bodily movements which distract your mind, all that take take you away from inward orientation. And concentration, so the whole idea here is to manifest transcendental energy in form of light, and that light is entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you're becoming one with this light. When mind wanders away, bring it back to this thought and this thought alone. That transcendental energy in form of light is right here, right now, and that's entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you're becoming the light. You are getting completely and totally immersed inside and out with this light. And we'll start with music that helps concentration, and then music fades away and you go deep into silent meditation, and that leads to higher consciousness. So let's start now. So happy Saturday, everyone. Feel free to put your videos on, audio for asking any questions. Comments and questions can be put on the chat. And um, so if we look at the pyramid and if we look at the first three realms, the realm of the world, realm of life, and realm of the mind. So realm of life is basically air, or because if we don't breathe, it's a matter of minutes, if not, Um, so workout, some walking, workouts, strength training, physical exercises, yoga exercises, etc., to keep body in shape, then breath work and uh, other ways to keep our you know um, uh, our intake of oxygen, which is essential for our health and um, well-being. So that's there, and then resilience of mind. Um, that's concentration, focus is so important for our um, ability to lead a good life. So interestingly, we're talking about vertical growth, and but these three require work, require effort, and I was see sometimes like was just having dinner with some folks who were very focused on making money, etc. And even there was a discussion like why I am wasting time. But based on some of that discussion, what I came up with is that all of us, one of them just had some health issues, and you know um, heart related problems. So anyway, so a lot of discussion happened, and what I came out with was that for the next generation, um, you know I mean, and for everyone, actually, these three things, keeping your body fit, keeping your breath work and your, oxygen intake at the optimal level, and then keeping your mind, straight. So for the next generation, I was thinking uh, we should have a school of mental resilience, a school of mental resilience that focuses on psychology, new research in neuroscience, mental well being, mindfulness, yoga exercises, breath work, and meditation, all combined to give them tools to deal with today's stress, information overload, worry, anxiety, lack of faith, and so on and so forth. Right. So, um, while we all need it, but translating some of these things into um, something that the next generation understands, but also not just give them one tool, but a whole uh, slew of them, which can be used in various circumstances and various situations. And interestingly, as I was growing up with Satsang, a lot of these pieces of the puzzle were there. Like, uh, you know, it was a very family oriented, very, um, uh, the community developed around satsang was very, um, you know, service oriented, very meditation oriented, very resiliency oriented in terms of the leaders were helping everyone in the community to, uh, you know, excuse me, to grow as well as, you know, it's more like mentoring, supporting, and providing, you know, various kinds of support as needed was integral to the whole process. So I'll pause there. So any thoughts, questions, comments? So next Saturday, I'll be in Jaipur, 200 miles west of Delhi. So I'll join from there, most probably. The Saturday after that, I'll be in Delhi. So I'm trying to see if, you know, where I'll be joining from. So I'll most probably do that as well. And then I'll be in London, Manchester area on the 27th. So hopefully we'll figure out where I'll be on that Saturday. So unlike my usual travels, I had been, you know, not attending these sessions, but this time I'll try, hopefully, to join. Tuesdays will be slightly more difficult, but I think 30th I'll be back, 9th I'll be here. So 16th and 23rd are the only ones. So we'll see. Those two I'll try to cover. So Luz, how are you?
Happy Saturday. It's great to meditate with you all as usual. I had been traveling these last 2 weekends, so I haven't been able to join.
But all good, right?
Yeah, all good, all good. But it's just a joy to join you today, and I've missed the group and I've missed the meditations. Really liked the chart that you put up, the map of the internal states. It's always good to kind of remind myself of the goals, the goal of being in the solar phase. That's my goal, whether or not it's good to have goals, I don't know, but that's my goal. But sometimes I find myself in the lunar phase. So it's good to kind of remind myself, oh, you know, I've got to remember, that the ultimate goal is to get to the solar phase. So it was good to see that chart.
See, the
And
thing is,
yeah,
just to, not intending to interrupt, but lunar phase is just a step towards the solar phase, right? So all the effort that we make in the solar phase, you get into the cruise control mode, but that's a journey of its own kind. So when we make ourselves capable, service comes in many, 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 many flavors, but in solar phase, sun being out there just gives us light, right? And gives us all the energy that this earth needs, right?
yes, exactly. Yes. And I know that both are integral aspects of life, and you can't get to one necessarily without having to like go through the other. But it's just a good reminder of where I am on a given day.
Yeah.
um and it was very interesting to hear your comments about doing lunch with your friends, and sort of like their questioning of like, well, is it really worth the time? I think it's really, again, I feel like I've said this before, it's just a manifestation too of like what we're taught in society. What are the emphases being, what's the emphasis, when we step out into the world, what is the world telling us, and I do have faith in the youth. I have faith. For some reason, I feel like the youth that I've encountered is more, or appears to be focused on mental well-being. I mean, I have faith in the youth, but I do feel like, you know, society does teach us in some ways to focus on materialism, and it takes effort on our part to realign that and to say, no, it's not about that. It's really more about mental well-being. I do see it. I do see that seeping in as a value, a value, of course, that society is trying to capitalize on now, right? Since they notice, businesses and corporations are noticing that, but that's not necessarily bad. I mean, if that's the way it has to seep in, then that's the way. But I do think, it is important to surround yourself as much as possible with the right values, the people that have the right values, so that it's easy. It helps to ease into, like, focusing on these things as a priority. The solar phase is a priority, because I think society tends to focus on the lunar phase a lot.
See, here also, like, one of the things was that, there was one question that I was asked in that meeting was, I am a very reactive person, and he was very candid in terms of that's affecting my health overall, but um, why would I change? This approach that I have learned, being extremely reactive and, blah, 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 that, is who I am. So if through meditation my behavior changes, do I want that? And that was a very interesting question.
That's very interesting. I mean, did he exhibit some sort of reflection on what being reactive has done for him? Like, is he question? Because sometimes, that kind of personality. Yes, there are times I've heard iterations of that concept and that thought before. Like, the kind of reactivity, competitiveness can help someone advance, actually.
Yes.
That kind of personality. And so they're afraid maybe to lose that, because that's helped them get to where they are. But then, it's always, that's an interesting, and it's interesting that he questioned it. It's good that he questioned it. Why not? Like, that's the beginnings of awareness, I suppose.
So I was kind of trying to tell them, and I wasn't like completely convinced, or neither were they, but one example I took was, like, some people might think that, sleeping for 8 hours may be unproductive, right? But having good sleep, and the person said, yeah, I usually believe in good sleep. And so I said, like, it's something very, very similar, that if you have good sleep, you will have, good outcomes. So meditation kind of teaches you to count to 10 before you react. But, again, but that's, see what I'm trying to bring here is that there are some myths and some even, like, relevant questions that we need to understand and adjust accordingly, right? I mean, for example, when I think I was talking about food and anger. Both of those things are, we're not saying don't have anger at all, or don't eat at all. The idea is, like, how do you lead a balanced life, a more balanced life, where you eat more deliberately in terms of what you want to intake, and anger to be used as a facilitator of certain situations. You could demonstrate anger to convey a message, but getting consumed, which we do, a lot of us do, by anger doesn't lead to much good for ourselves.
I like that thought, and I don't want to dominate the conversation. I definitely want to leave room for other people to comment, but I think balance is key, and I think that it's worth, when you run up against kind of like ideas and concepts and thought and conversations like that, I actually think that employing balance could help productivity. Anger and aggression and competitiveness, that's like a tool that you could use, but you shouldn't let it dominate you. It's not, it shouldn't take the driver's seat. Like
that's all. That's all. Yeah. Don't let it take the driver's seat. I think I like that statement. Yeah. Perfect. Anything else? Any other thoughts, questions before we wrap up? So Arvindji, anything on your mind?
Namaskar, Bhaiya. Namaskar to everybody. Happy Saturday. Yeah, I was just listening to what was being said and in conversation with Luz. And in fact, there is. I mean, I like to read every now and then, on these subjects, because in the past I was working on neurobiology patients and Parkinson's. So I used to be involved in research in the past. So I read up something recently, and it sheds light on what was just being discussed. So it's a paper, if I may, very briefly, and I'll shorten it. It was a publication that said on relationships between the practice of mindfulness, meditation, and personality. An exploratory analysis of mediating role of mindfulness skills of personality. And this is a proper research published paper. I'll give you a link if you want that. I'll just read the abstract. Mindfulness meditation has often been suggested to induce fundamental change in the way events in life are experienced and dealt with, presumably leading to alterations in personality. See, personality, as you were suggesting, the colleague you spoke with, people's personality usually was thought to be a fixed, characteristic, pretty much unchangeable, fixed characteristic. But recent neurobiological research, particularly the impact of meditation, has suggested that personality can be altered through deep meditative practices. So it just says the relationship between the practice of meditation and personality has not been systemically studied until now. The aim of this study was to explore the relationship and investigate the mediating role of mindfulness and meditative skills. So it looked at 35 people, and it just describes the cohort, and compared it with others without meditation. And the finding essentially was the practice of meditation was positively related to openness and extroversion, and negatively related to neuroticism, anxiety, stress, worry, and consciousness about these events. So thus the results of the current study associate the practice of meditation with higher levels of curiosity and receptivity to new experiences, and experience of positive effect, with less proneness toward negative emotions and worrying, and reduced focus on achievements. Again, you were talking about this person's interest in financial markets, achievements, money, material things. So actually, reduced focus on achievements, along with less proneness towards negative emotions, including worrying, and reduced focus. So furthermore, the mediating role of specific mindfulness skills in the relationship between practice of meditation and personality traits has been established and demonstrated in this particular study. And there are plenty more studies, but in the interest of time, I just wanted to mention this one at this point in time. And sure. Namaskar.
Yeah, Namaskar. I think, yeah, it's something that we should dig a little deeper because, as the research is happening, I mean, in Satsang community, we kind of knew intrinsically this is kind of bringing it out a little more explicitly. So Eddie, what's the wrap up today?
I think that was a good ending by RNG, and that is an answer to the question: is it worth it? And so the answer has to be yes, because we in this realm of the world are trying to find this happiness, right? We're trying to achieve those various things by acquiring more wealth and attaining higher positions in our company and so forth, and acquiring these titles. But the way we really achieve that is through a pleasantness of life, right? Joy and happiness and these sorts of things. And so, as Arvinji has said, is that when we practice meditation, we do achieve these positive effects of life, and not the negative things such as anxiety and stress and all those other factors. So the question to is it worth it? The answer would be, if you want to have a more pleasant, joyful life, then one without worry and fear and anxiety, then yes, it is worth it. So meditation and satsang is definitely worth the effort.
All right. On that note, let's be with light, love, and peace, and and inner happiness, inner strength, and inner peace all through. And these group sessions definitely help. We collectively grow and collectively get to higher states and higher consciousness and higher awareness. So on that note, let's see you all here soon, and have a great week ahead. I'll join you from my travels in the next few weeks. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you,
Thanks
Sanjeev.
so much.
Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah.
Namaste, bhaiya, everyone.
Namaskar. Camilla,
Thank you.
take care.
Namaste.
Namaskar.